Alright guys, today we're specifically going to talk about the instinct and why it's so practical when it comes to practical application flying. Like here in South Africa, it's applied for farmers, for anti-poaching operations, for military operations, etc. The three key things about the instinct is it's got a modular design, which means if something breaks, it's only that single part that you have to replace, like the strut or the arch. Very quick to just take it out, replace it with a new one, low cost compared to a cage or some of these motors that uses cages, etc., that bent out of shape, and you've got to, replace that whole part. Second thing, one start-stop ignition button. That's very important when you're landing in small spaces. We call it the go-around ability. If you're going to miss your landing spot and overglide it, overshoot it, then you can quickly start up the engine again and go around again and do it again, and that's safe. And the third most important thing is the fuel consumption. We're talking about 3 liters an hour with a 14-liter tank. So that gives us at least a 3.5-hour window in the air. And when doing observations and anti-poaching operations, that's quite crucial. All right, so what I'm going to do now is illustrate the one start-stop. So what I'm going to do now is illustrate the one start-stop ability of the instinct, and I'm going to show you the landing spot and then go do a go-around. Alright, now that you've seen it, this is what you've got to keep in mind. Just before you hit the windmill, there's a little crest and it goes downhill. So if I overshoot that little crest area and not land before it, I'm going to have a downhill landing, which is going to be at a much higher speed, and the chance for me to get hurt is much higher. So I've got to make a perfect landing right next to that windsock. If I don't get it right, I can apply the go-around. Here we go. Alright, coming in for landing, but I'm going to turn the camera around. Gonna miss the landing spot. Whoop. Start up. Let's go. Alright, perfect example there. I literally had 2 or 3 meters to make it above the ground. I was literally flying 2 or 3 meters above the ground level, and I had that split second to make that decision if I'm going to do a go-around or if I'm going to try and force this landing. Now imagine you having a kind of throttle with 2 different start and stop ignitions. It's not going to work. You're going to go down and you're going to have to make that landing work, and that's not any fun. The other option is to do a power-on landing, and if something goes wrong, you stumble over a rock or something like that, your prop's still swinging, and then you're going to cut the engine, and that's not something you want to do. Alright, that's it for this clip. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
The really big technological advancements have come from DUDEC in the last year and a half with the development of the Universal, the Nucleon XX, the Nucleon WRC, and now the Hadron XX, which allows for a nice, slow, controlled landing where and when you want it.
Guys, just to come back to throttle, that I've got a separate ignition and kill switch button. It's not that those throttle systems are bad, it's just that they are not so practical when coming in on landing on small spaces and taking off in small spaces, because your ability when you're landing to cut the engine and restart is not so easy, especially when you are literally only meters away from touching down. You cannot let go of one of the toggles and reach underneath and start the engine again and then hope to reach your toggle again in time. It's not safe. So for small spaces, the Instinct really outperforms any other motor with this single ability. Never mind the power, never mind the weight. It's all worth it to fly safe. Thanks a lot.